Hey guys, how's it going? So today I thought I would go over all the different like symptoms or issues that I deal with either on a day-to-day basis or just deal with in general. Um, so that you kind of get an idea of um, everything I go through. And maybe it'll help somebody, with whatever they're going through, that they're not alone, or just, whatever reason. But I just felt it's probably important I kind of share that. But I will say, bear with me. As I've said many times, my memory is not what it used to be. So I have to, some of these, symptoms are obviously easy to remember because I deal with them constantly. But some things slip my mind, and or it's something I've been dealing with and for a long time, and it's kind of just like you know in the background, and it's just like, oh yeah, I know it's there, and whatever. Um, so just kind of bear with me if I kind of like pause here and there, trying to recall things. Um, So yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to start with arthritis, right? So I have it severely in my lower back, and mild to moderate in my upper back. Um, I have it in my hands. I have it severely in my left hand index finger base joint. I don't ever remember what the knuckle is called, so sorry. Um, and then I have it in my knees and in my hips. Um, don't know if I have it at my feet or the other joints because I've never gotten X-rays of them or them checked. Um, so it's a fair guess there it could be in there to some degree. Um, and with that, especially in my back, it causes joint stiffness, and obviously in the back, um, bone spurs and disc deterioration or bulging, which obviously causes pain. Especially if the bones rub on each other, yada yada yada. It also pinches my nerves down there, which causes shooting pain all the way down the legs to the feet. That's why I get nerve burns, to get rid of that. Um, so yeah, there's that, and in my hand, the arthritis in my hand, uh, my mobility in that finger is limited. Um, it pops and grinds a lot, almost daily, probably. Um, so yeah, there's that. Um, and let's go with the joint hypermobility, right? That in itself has a lot of problems. Basically, every joint is super, you know, mobile, I guess. I mean, my new rheumatologist, when she was inspecting my hands for the first time, as she touched each finger joint, she's like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, I can definitely easily tell you have hypermobility." You know, but yeah, I mean, it's there's pains with that. I even without injuring my left shoulder years ago, I still have to constantly pop them, like I just popped it right now, back into place. I could just be driving for, a couple of hours throughout the day, not like at once, even just a couple of hours or even an hour throughout the day running errands or whatever. And just sitting in that the car chair, it just slowly pushes the joints out of alignment. Not a full dislocate, but enough that I have to pop it back in and whatnot. And that's the same with most foot joints. I mean, I've had My hips actually fully dislocate several times, and that's very painful. Subluxating joints is very painful. You know, it just depends on how bad they subluxate or how. Like yesterday, I was shopping and I just had my arms, on the basket, and I guess the elbow joint was out of alignment just enough. And however, I had my arm, sitting, and I must have uh, pushed in on the elbow more than I expected, and it popped, and it popped really hard. It was a woo moment, right? It was pretty brutal. And I get that a lot with my right arm when it's really out of alignment and I pop it. It's a really painful pop. So there's things of that nature, and obviously just the hypermobility. It just causes problems. Hard to do certain things. You have to be extra careful doing things like stretches and whatnots, and so it comes with its own challenges and difficulties. Yeah, so there's that. I guess I'll talk about the current pain with my abdominal area as well, because that's been a pretty predominant one lately. It's almost always a constant right now. And sometimes it's hard to pinpoint if it's the bladder, if it's the intestines, or all the above. I don't know. But when I have to use the restroom and urinate, there's two types of things that happen. One, either on trying to start going, the pain is like intensified because it basically feels like it's so the best way I can explain it is if you have a dam and a little crack opens, all that raw water is trying to rush out at once, right? But it can't because it's blocked. And so it's similar sensation, but because of it, it's painful. And a lot of times that pain even slows down or stops the flow from going until it passes, which is, anywhere from 10 seconds to, 30 seconds. And then I get to go. And then the other one is on emptying it. It often is this pinching, sharp pain that just, happens, and then it's over in a matter of seconds. But yeah, it's painful. The other is, having a bowel movement. I believe I've talked about how my intestines have been rewired. I used to go every day, and then ever since I got on that one drug, Mobic, it rewired it, and so I only ever go every 4 days. And so there's a lot, right? There's a culmination of 4 days, and when that happens now, I get this really intense, sharp pain in my intestinal area. And in fact, it's gotten so bad several times where I've literally felt like I was going to throw up, and then immediately following that would be passing out. It's really one of the most intense pains I deal with right now. It's crazy. It lessens, obviously, once I have that bowel movement. But anytime, my bladder's really full, or I happen to overeat at dinner or whatever, or I ate snack too much, whatever, that added pressure makes it intensify too. In fact, just sitting up in this position, or even more so like this, puts pressure in that area and causes the pain to intensify. And so that's why a lot of times I try to lean back or lay down and be stretched out because it's less painful. Um, so that's why I'm trying to hurry up and see the urologist to get some relief because it's constant. It's every day now, and it's just brutal. So that's that. Um, the other is the possible CMT disease. I've been having lots of nerve pain in my arms specifically. At first, it was just the left, but then it actually spread to the right within these last few weeks, and so it's basically like a shooting nerve pain going from my elbow up to my hand, mostly in this region. But it's pretty brutal. And I've also had at times, especially at night when I'm trying to sleep, where the best I can describe it is kind of like fireworks going off in my nerves, where you just feel like this going up and down my arms, and in both of them it was doing that. And it makes it hard to sleep because not only is that obviously painful, but I also have this I don't know if it's the sensory issue or my fibromyalgia or just my nerve issues in general, but it says if it keeps going on and I just try to ignore it and deal with it and try to sleep, it builds up and it just sets off. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. That's actually pretty funny. Oh my gosh, she won't shut up.
Here's a reminder.
Alrighty, sorry about that. She apparently didn't want to listen. Uh, anyways, so the that fireworks shooting pain, it keeps going and keeps going, and if I don't try to let it pass or shake it off, I mean, I haven't really found anything or know anything to make it stop when I have those moments. But regardless, when it happens, if I don't try to do something like move or shake my arms out, it sets off this other nerve thing I have where, like I've talked about before, where it feels like I got like the heebie-jeebies or something, and it's like just radiating nerve pain and discomfort that just goes into all throughout my body, and then it's just it's unpleasant. And so when I was having those moments, it just triggered the other, and then it just was like it was unpleasant, and it's not fun. And lots of things trigger that nerve heebie-jeebies, as I keep calling it, which is unfortunate. I mean, I could just be driving and have cruise control on, and someone just like makes a drastic cut in front of me, and I have to try to brake, and it's just like it's not like most people would probably be like and have that heart thumping, like racing, all that. Me, it's just my nerves go off, and it's like, I hate you. But lots of things set it off, and so that sucks, and so that's one of the most annoying ones. It's not the most painful, but definitely the most annoying and the most triggered. And obviously with the nerve pain in my hand and arm, I've also been dealing with the muscle wasting, which I've talked about. And I've also been dealing with loss of sensation, which I didn't know about until I had that one doctor's appointment where they tested my, sensitivity or, feelability or whatever the hell. And, I didn't realize that. And, I've noticed that actually in that whole arm, not just the hand, because I don't remember what it happened, but there was an instance where, I don't know, something was touching my arm nothing bad, just like, I don't know, something, like I was making something and something was touching it that was like wet or something. I didn't notice it until I looked and like, oh, I didn't notice that. So there's that, obviously. And um, on top of that, I have the fibromyalgia, which is just, a constant like shooting nerve pain that goes in different areas throughout your body and stuff like that. Um, that one actually is probably on the lower end of things. It still sucks, and I still don't like when I have those moments, because the gabapentin has been kind of holding that fairly well. Um, and speaking of gabapentin, I forgot to say this on my update. Um, my doctor upped my gabapentin recently, to try to combat the CMT nerve pain, because that's the treatment, medically speaking, that's or medicinally speaking, that's the treatment for helping with the pain, is gabapentin, because it's apparently a drug that's safe to go up in dose until you get to a point where your pain is manageable. So I went up to from 300 milligrams 3 times a day to 300 milligrams 5 times a day. And it's only been since Tuesday, but I've already noticed a reduction in the pain in my arms, which has been, I can't tell you how much of a relief that's been, because that's been one of my constant battles with pain, is the arm nerve pain. So that's a good sign for me, and a good relief. So there's that. And then I deal with, like, in my feet mostly, and my hands too, but not nearly as much with my hands as they do with my feet. They get freezing cold, like almost every day. I'm wearing socks like literally 24/7. I put on a pair of socks in the morning when I wake up, and then I take them off, put on a new pair in the morning. And even then, like right now, they're with socks on, they're still cold. Sometimes I have to wear slippers with it to kind of heat it up a little bit, but sometimes even then, like, it's trippy. And obviously that causes pain in itself. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had your hand cold from, I don't know, just cold weather or just something, and you accidentally hit it against something, and that how it stings, right? When you hit it and it's cold, it's like this super painful sting that just, oh yeah, it's not fun. And so I'm quite clumsy, and with my joints giving out at random, and all other issues, I constantly, like, not hard, but I'll bump into things or whatnot, and it's just, ooh, yeah. But yeah, so there's that. Gosh, I told you I'm having like total brain fart and stuff. I know there's the migraines, right? That's a big one. Now with Emgality medication I've been on, that's been another lifesaver, because I was getting them 3 times a week easily, and then headaches I'd get every day. And it just was not pretty. So that's been a big help. I've migraines now. Let's see, this year alone I've had, I think, 2, and that's huge. Going from 3 a week to 2 in 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. So awesome. But I do still get headaches. Either tension headaches from my neck, which it's also why I get the nerve burn to relieve the tension headaches, but I still get them, just not as often and not as intense. And I still get from the sinuses, or just headache just occurs. Muscles are sore. I don't know. There's a dozen reasons I get them. I'm sure. but they're manageable, right? I can take, this one oil I have that I think I'm pretty sure I talked about, that helps reduce the headache to a tolerable level, or I can take Excedrin and it's gone. Sometimes it doesn't get rid of it, and I just have to deal with it. But a headache I can totally live with, versus a migraine is just no, checking out. So there's that. Obviously, I have vision problems. Um, Not only do I have to wear glasses, but I've been dealing with an issue that I have called, I think, CMD. Don't quote me on that because I'm probably getting the acronym wrong. I forget what it stands for, but basically you have these oil glands on the underside of here and here, and they're supposed to be nice and straight and neat and in rows. Well, 9 months ago, and actually before that, but 9 months ago I had this treatment done to clear it all out and let them restart and all that, because mine were missing or they were just like all over the place, and it was causing eye damage and whatnots. And so I got that. I just saw the doctor about that recently, and she said everything's good, so that's good. But regardless, I've been dealing with that, and with that is like the dry eyes, severe dry eyes. Like I have to get eye plugs in to help with the tears stay in instead of draining out. They stay in to help lubricate my eyes. I have to put in this prescription eye drop twice a day. I have to put in omega-3 eye drops. I have to use this scrubbing thing that kills off the bacteria and germs and all that on the eyelashes. I have to use a heated face mask, and yeah, it's a whole thing. And there's that, and of course the dry mouth, which I'm totally experiencing right now. It's gotten bad several times to the point where it's kind of like cotton mouth. And it's unpleasant. Sometimes it still happens no matter how much I drink in a day. And people, people find it hard to believe me whenever I say that water actually, I don't not just like water, because I know water doesn't technically have a taste, but to me it tastes funny. I've never liked the taste of it. But yeah, the thing is it actually, I've said this for years, even before I had all these health issues, that it always feels like it actually is drying me out, right? I can drink 120 ounces of water in a day, every day, and my mouth constantly feels like it's drying out, and all this stuff. It's just weird how it does that. I don't know why. It's just like I've heard certain people with Ehlers say, oh, if I have a drink of water first thing when I get up, it upsets my stomach, which, right, doesn't make sense, right? It's water, but obviously everyone's different. Everyone has different health issues, and so what may seem odd or not possible honestly could be, but I digress. So yeah, those are a whole bunch of things I deal with. Obviously, I just deal with sensory issues. Like I have to have. Like this jacket is bigger than it needs to be, because I've always had this like sensitivity on my skin. If clothes were too tight or not comfortable, it would just drive me nuts. And now actually that's even more intensified with all the nerve issues. So I'm constantly wearing, very loose and big clothes, bigger than it needs to be, I should say, because of that. It's just, it's the culmination of all these things even put together just sucks, and on a daily basis, it's tough. So my heart goes out to those who deal with, stuff like this or worse on a day-to-day basis, and those who deal with this and don't have anyone to to talk to about it, or that has someone that understands it. I get it. It's not easy to understand if you haven't dealt with even like a fraction of it. It's definitely hard to understand, and sometimes even when people go through certain things that you experience, um, even then it's still they don't understand, because they're just going through some of the things you're going through, and it's maybe it's not as intense, or maybe it's different, and they just don't grasp the full gravity of it or something. I don't know, but I know that I'm missing things of what's I deal with on a day-to-day basis, but that's a good generalization of a lot of the things I deal with. But yeah, I just thought, I'll make a video this time of the different things I have to deal with and that bother me or painful, and hopefully that helps one of you guys either learn or say, hey, I deal with this too, and it's helpful and whatnot. And then as always, you guys are welcome to comment on my channel, and if questions, or I've had someone reach out and say that they deal with CMT, and that if I have any questions for them, I appreciate that just as much. And so feel free, right? And I got nothing but love for all of you. And I'll talk to you guys next week when I have updates, which I'm fairly certain I probably will. Who knows? Maybe I'll just have an update after I do that stress test. I don't know if it's that next week or not, or the week after. I don't know. But either way, I love you guys. I appreciate you. And you guys take care.